Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to Mexpat Dating. Today we're going to be talking about how cold approach transforms you as a man. Over this time of my own cold approach and then helping guys with their cold approach too, I've learned a lot of things and I've actually seen a lot of benefits that come besides just the basics that we think about and our main objective when we go out in cold approach. So I really wanted to make this video today because I've noticed a lot of things outside of just dating in itself that come from learning cold approach. If you are somebody that's considering getting out there, doing more cold approach, or maybe you've tried for a while and it's been hard and difficult and you want to give up, right? Hopefully this video can give you some inspiration and motivation that, hey, like this isn't going to just change my life in terms of potentially getting a girlfriend, right? This is actually going to help in all these other areas of life besides just dating. So the first thing cold approach does is it helps you identify the blind spots in your own ego, your own psyche, all the ways that you give yourself excuses. Whenever I've seen somebody start to do cold approach, and I was like this myself, I came up with so many different excuses of why I shouldn't be doing this, why people were gonna be looking at me, laughing at me, judging me, why I was gonna fail, why this was hopeless, right? And I see this a lot with clients when they first start out with us on their first couple sessions. It's really difficult for them to convince themselves, even though they've signed on with us, they paid us, they still find it difficult and come up with a lot of reasons why they shouldn't be doing this, right? So once they start doing this, they realize, whoa, hold on a sec. All these negative things that I thought were gonna happen, all this judgment I was gonna feel from society, it didn't happen. And in fact, I got really good results. People were really cool, people were really kind and nice, and nobody pulled out their phone, put me on TikTok, security didn't come and try to kick me out of the mall. So guys start to realize that I can be free to be myself in the modern world, in just a social setting. I don't have to know these people to feel comfortable. So it reduces a lot of anxiety on just like a total front, right? Guys stop being afraid to be out in public and being themselves. And this was a huge thing for me for sure, is I kind of realized like, yo, I'm actually pretty free in this world. I can kind of do what I want. Like, obviously to a degree, like I don't want to be doing things that could get me in trouble, but cold approach isn't going to be one of those things. Going up to a girl at the store, at the mall, or in a public setting, even if she's with her family, I'm not going to get arrested or anything like that. So it frees up guys to realize that they can be their true authentic self in the real modern world. And as well, like I was saying before, they realize that, wow, I've come up with a lot of excuses in my life that have held me back from becoming the best person I want. Yo, I can actually not listen to those anymore. I can actually take action towards my goals, even if it's difficult and even if it takes time. But I can do things that are going to help move me forward in the direction that I want. And it's very freeing in that regard for sure. I stopped making excuses. I stopped being lazy. I got to work every single day because I'm like, hold on, this thing that I thought was impossible, talking to women, I've gotten good at it. So what else can I get good at? Wow, I've done the hardest thing that probably I'll ever have to do. Do you think starting a business can be that hard? No. Do I think making money or getting in shape or eating healthy can be hard? No, it might be challenging, but no. Like compared to cold approach, dude. Like I faced the fear of God, man. I faced my own demons and my own inner dragon over and over and over and over again. One, I didn't die, and two, I actually got results. I got dates. I got to have these amazing experiences. I have a girlfriend now, which has been incredible. And all because I decided to take that leap of faith and trust the process and trust that I am more than what my ego and what my mind says that I can or cannot do. The next way cold approach transformed me as a man and can transform you too is it allows you to stop fearing authority, and especially the authority of women. This is something that I really struggled with, I'm not gonna lie, for most of my life. I grew up, as most of you guys probably did as well, with women teachers, and I had some pretty mean teachers, I'm not gonna lie. So I always feared like what a woman would think about me, how she would respond to me, talk to me, if she would yell at me, all these things that like I had kind of PTSD about. I say that jokingly, but yes and no, not really. From when I was in elementary school, for example, or middle school. And so once I started learning cold approach and kind of realized that I can actually go out and meet women and have amazing conversations, connection, I realized that I don't have to fear the authority of a woman anymore. I don't have to worry about them getting mad at me or not liking me or feeling disappointed in me, right? Because in school, that would be a big deal, right? I get sent to the principal's office, or I get a bad grade, or I get embarrassed in front of the whole class. Kind of realize like that doesn't really matter anymore. Like I'm gonna get rejected, of course. Girls are gonna reject you, obviously. Girls that you like are gonna reject you, and that's okay. That's part of the game. That's part of the process. But once I realized that, I was like, hold on, like what is this woman gonna do to me? Like what is she gonna? She's not gonna harm me. I'm not gonna lose my job. She's not going to physically, she's not going to hurt me physically unless she's like some MMA fighter, but I typically don't approach those women anyway. Um, Jokes aside though, she's not gonna, like, all she's gonna do is hurt my ego a little bit, make me feel a little embarrassed or insecure or rejected, right? That's the worst that's gonna happen. And I can face that. I can get through that. It hurts, it still hurts like a motherfucker, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm not gonna pretend like that pain doesn't go away. But after like 20 seconds of walking away, I'm like, okay, you know what? Not the end of the world. Worse things have happened. Worse things can happen than some woman saying, I don't like you. And then in turn, once you do enough approaches, guys, this is what changes for a lot of men. They realize, okay, maybe I get rejected by this girl, and then this girl, and this girl, right? All in a row, and it hurts so bad. And then I go out and do another approach, and suddenly she wants to go out with me. She's laughing, she's smiling, we're having a great time. This was such a groundbreaking revelation for me, and I see it with the guys I coach as well. They all kind of have that realization that, wow, like even though I just got ripped to shreds, emotionally and egoically, I just had this great conversation and got a number, and we're gonna possibly have a date, right? That was so powerful for me, and it just made me realize that, like in sales, if you guys are in sales or have done sales, people are gonna say no, but you're looking for that client that's gonna say yes. That's what we're hunting for. We're hunting for the girl that likes us and that we like them, of course. We don't want to just be spamming every single woman we see to get a yes. But when we actually realize, like, girls we like will like us back. Not everyone, but some. That's usually enough for guys, and was for myself, to kind of be like, oh, this is worth continuing to do. I'm not going to give up on this because the reward is way higher than the risk. Right? And it doesn't take guys too long to figure this out. I'm working with a guy right now. His name is, throw him up on the screen here. And he was so nervous his first day. Like, he wanted to cry. And he had paid me, right? So he had come down specifically to Mexico City to work on cold approach. We had our 5th session yesterday. He did 11 approaches. I have some of the recordings. We're going to do a little testimonial interview here in the next few days. And dude, he was getting numbers. Like, the girls were laughing. He was flirting. He had an instant date, right? And this is just 5 days after he wanted to throw up and pass out at the mall. So point being is that you guys could, like, if you really put some focused work into it and face this fear, it can really be gone within a week or two. Like, it's not like this thing you have to work on for years. I did, because I didn't have any mentors or support or I wasn't watching any videos. I just kind of tried to do it on my own until I did end up finding a support team to help me, and then things really took off from there. But that was after like 700 approaches. So the fact that this guy did about 50 approaches, which is about as much as he's done in his whole life, and now he's getting numbers. He went on a date the other night, and it's just incredible. So you can really make a lot of progress, guys, quick when you put your mind to it and face that fear, face that rejection, and realize that little woman isn't going to do anything but make you a little embarrassed. All right. The other thing too is this will help you in your professional life as well. I know for me that I don't fear the boss anymore. I don't fear getting fired. I don't fear saying the wrong thing, right? Because I have that internal confidence that, like, I'm somebody that does difficult things. I can be an asset to society. I've obviously at this point, I've gone on a lot of dates, and I've realized that, like, women do like me and that I am good at dating. So I feel a lot more confidence in myself and realizing that I am a valuable asset to society. And especially with women too. This is the big point I want to make here, is that if you have like a woman coworker or a woman boss or anything like that, you kind of can game them a little bit, in the sense of, like, you can be flirty, you can be fun, you can give them a good experience in the workplace, right? Obviously, you're not trying to like sleep with them, because that would get you in trouble. But the same flirtation now that you have adopted through cold approach, you can bring into a work meeting, right? And even though you're not, obviously you don't want to be like hitting on them and like saying overtly sexual things, but just having that fun, light energy, when you're in a good cold approach, that's going to translate, and she's going to have a better experience too. So you're going to evolve further in your career as well from learning cold approach, especially if you have women coworkers or a woman boss or something like that. Another piece too is that you're going to have a much better experience with women, just relationships in general. The relationship with my mom is better. I don't fear her authority, like I said earlier. I have a roommate right now. I moved into this brand new apartment. This is real. This is not just some background. I'm in Mexico City here. Real water, see, as you can see. And I've never lived in an apartment this nice. And how I found it, I'll tell you the story. And shout out Melanie if you watch this. I was moving out because Jaron and I were roommates. He's the other guy in this channel. And I was looking on Facebook Marketplace for a new spot. And I was just like, hey, does anyone have any place to rent? There's this like group in Mexico City. I can share that with you if you do come down to Mexico City. A lot of people are offering like short-term leases, a few weeks to a month. If you need somewhere short to stay, there's people that post nice, there's a lot of realtors in there so they can help you find an apartment. And this girl messaged me and she's like, hey, I got the spot. I'm like looking for another roommate. And she showed me some pictures and I was like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is way too nice. But then I really looked at it and she gave me a little tour and I'm like, okay, I need to live here. Like, this is incredible. I've never lived in a place like this. There's a hot tub, there's a pool. It's really remarkable. A ton of amenities. So if you do come down to Mexico City, you'll come here, we'll hang out. I bring some of the guys over, some buddies hang out. Because I had done so much cold approach, because I have experience with women, I wasn't nervous talking to her. I wasn't insecure. And to be honest, I found out she had done some research on me. She found the channel. She looked through my profiles and stuff, obviously, because she doesn't want to live with some weirdo. But she saw that, okay, this guy isn't going to be some creepy dude that's going to try to hit on me or sleep with me or do something weird like that, make the dynamic weird, or he's not going to, he's just not a weird guy, right? Because he obviously has experience with women. So she trusted me because of my experience with cold approach, and because obviously I documented it and stuff. I have a girlfriend as well, which added some value to, added some security to her. But if I didn't have this channel, if I hadn't done cold approach, she probably wouldn't have reached out because she probably would have tried to find a woman roommate. But that was a huge blessing of this cold approach, is that now I get to live in this fantastic apartment. She's really cool. You'll meet her if you come down. Yeah, super good vibe, super chill, super relaxed. She gets along good with my girlfriend Jess, and that's all I really need, right? So you'll never know what opportunities will come in terms of just relationships in general from learning cold approach and having that confidence to talk to women, to be around women. All right, guys, this has been a really fun video to make. And the last thing I wanted to touch on here, getting to have a sense of peace. That's how, as men, one of the most important things we need in our lives is peace. I mean, you've heard it before. All we want is a girlfriend, a woman who brings us peace. And that is the number one thing that cold approach does. It gives you that sense of like, I'm going to be okay in this world. If I have a bad relationship or if something ends or doesn't work out, I can go out anytime and meet a girl that's really going to add value to my life and that I'm going to be able to build a relationship with. So many benefits, guys, in terms of your own well-being and your own sanity. I've never felt as good as I do after I do a big day of cold approach. I've talked to a bunch of girls, I get some numbers, there's potential date opportunities. I lay in bed in peace being like, okay, I've done what I needed to do today. Like, this is what God put me on this earth to do, is to procreate and know all that stuff. Obviously, my goal here right now in my life is to procreate, but I feel like I'm moving towards like a bigger vision. And that sense of peace that I get to go to bed with is something that I craved for so many years. And, especially I was getting a little older in my late 20s. I was just like, man, like I would love a girlfriend. I would love just to know that I can go out and meet a girl if I wanted to and have a great experience, that I don't have to use dating apps because, well, for me anyway, I didn't do very good on dating apps. So it was kind of my last resort. And I just remember once I started to nail it and start to get some results, I slept like a baby. I'd be happy. I'd wake up motivated and excited for the day. And then, of course, like you also learn as a man to go with the ups and downs, because there are going to be ups and downs of cold approach, right? You are going to meet girls that you really like, that you potentially have a date with. You have a date, maybe you mess it up because it is a learning experience, or it's just not going to be a good compatibility, and you feel that disappointment, and then you feel that like, man, like I messed this up. But the key here, guys, is that it only stings for a little bit, versus in the past, man, if I messed up with a girl, I'd be out for like 8 years. I remember this girl from college, we also went to high school together. We hung out like all semester, and I just didn't realize I was supposed to make a move. And like, so we became like best friends. And then I told her at the end of the semester, hey, I really like you, and I've had feelings for you. And she goes, oh, Joel, like, I'm sorry, like you're like a brother to me. And I just remember like my heart just sinking into my stomach. And because of that, I started doing a lot more drugs. I started like partying way more. And I really went into a spiral for many, many years until I started cold approach, to be honest. That one stung for like 8 years. Yeah, now it's like, it'll sting for a little bit. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I forget sometimes. I'm like, oh yeah, I can like go outside and like go to the mall for an hour and like get 5 new dates. It's like, holy crap. Like, and once I like take that action and start walking towards the mall, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then I had that first approach. It goes well, and she's smiling and laughing. I'm like, okay, I don't even need that other girl. Like, why was I even hung up on her, right? Because each girl you meet is going to be better than the last one, right? And that's the magic of cold approach. You get way more skilled at identifying what kind of girl you want, going for it, and having better results and the quality just keeps going up and up and up. And until eventually, you know, what most guys want and what I wanted was to find a girl that satisfied all those boxes. Where I was like, okay, this is somebody I want to build a relationship with. I've been dating my current girlfriend, Jess, for over 6 months now, and it's been an incredible experience. I've grown so much as a man, and I have the cold approaches. I'll put the video down below of when I went up and talked to her, and we have it on camera, which is a really special moment. It's something that her and I will remember as long as we're together. I'll be able to show the kids if we have kids one day. I'll be able to show the family. And I've told people, and it's a really cool story. Versus like, you know, yeah, I was sitting on the shitter and I swiped on this girl because she was hot, right? Versus obviously doing a cold approach. So there's a lot more romance that has come from me deciding to do this, and it makes me remember the start of a relationship as a very special moment versus that if it was just some random girl I met on a dating app or some girl I didn't really, you know, or just some girl that happened to fall into my lap from a friend. I feel like I earned this relationship. I feel like I was the one to take that action. I just feel like a complete man. It's freaking awesome. So guys, if this stood out to you and this is something that you are looking to improve in your life, if you're ready to actually face your fears and overcome this approach anxiety, overcome rejection, overcome the doubt you have in your mind that you're good enough as a man, if you want to be that top man that can go out and meet a girl anytime they want and have an amazing relationship, then I highly encourage you guys to fill out an application down below to work with me personally. I help dozens of guys improve their cold approach, like Alp here, who actually I'm going to be going out for a session with in a couple hours. Been doing fantastic, right? And he's just a normal, average guy, right? He's got, you know, doesn't dress super great yet, isn't in shape, but he's had an amazing experience. He's had dates, like I said. He's been getting numbers. Girls are flirting with him, laughing with him. Hot girls too, trust me, like good-looking girls. But it's because they are attracted to his confidence, right? Obviously, we want to be working on those other things as well, which will help you on too, like fashion, making sure little things like you don't got anything on your face, you know, you're taking good care of your skin. We got him some moisturizer the other day at the mall, AM, PM, so now he's taking better care of his skin because he was a little flaky. Working on style, making sure we're seeing the importance of eating well, going to the gym, all that stuff. That's just one of the many things we'll cover. All those little things are going to make the difference to becoming great at this. And I'm really excited for the opportunity to be able to help you. I love doing this. I love making these videos. I love this channel. And it's been a privilege to be able to share this passion I had and this just desire to become a better person and a better man and have what I really want in this life. Fill out that application. It'll take about a minute. And basically, we'll see if we'll be a good fit. And then also, if you decide to come to Mexico, or if you would prefer to do it online, I do both. Obviously, if you come to Mexico, you get the experience of getting to go out with me and having that push, that accountability one-on-one, in person, live infield. But also, I do online, and you can make a lot of progress by just even recording your approaches. That's what I started doing when I did cold approach by myself. I recorded to it, listened back to it, and really was able to hear all the things that I was, you know, doing well and all the things that I was doing wrong, and then was able to analyze through there. So that's something we'll work on as well. So I appreciate you guys coming by the channel. This was a fun video to make. It meant a lot as it's been a topic that's been on my mind working with Alp these last couple of days. And I appreciate you coming by. Feel free to share this with anybody that you know is looking to improve their dating life, cold approach, online dating, whatever it might be. And we'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.